Hello, folks. Welcome to another edition of Creator News Live. I am so glad you're here, having fun, getting ready for the holidays. It's still warm in Texas, of course, but I'm so excited to have Maliha here with me because I saw her at CX and I saw her with Rich Brooks, and she talks about AI, and she's a designer and a Canva whiz, all the cool things that I know you guys want to know about. So I'm very excited to have her on the show. Maliha, how you doing? How's it in Kansas City today? Is it
It's a
cold?
little chilly,
Yeah,
but it's a great day.
yeah. I'm not a big fan of the cold. We were talking a little bit beforehand, and for you guys who don't know, I grew up in Kansas, and I do not miss the snow. My kids are like, "Oh, the snow, it's so great," and then it's pretty for a day, right? And then it gets gross, right? So
Yep.
I just don't. And they pile it up in the parking lots, and it looks nasty and everything. So we've got Sean from But Mostly Disney saying, I am sitting in my car in the snow. Ugh. No thanks, Sean. I would not like that at all. What do you do? Are you traveling? Are you heading to Florida, sunny Florida? Because he goes to Disney quite a bit, a couple times a month, and does a lot of great content. He's got a live show as well. So thank you for popping in. I've got so many great questions for Maliha today. So I'm going to get going on the show. But as we go along today, make sure you ask your questions wherever you are watching from. Enter them down below, and I'll try to bring them on the screen. We're going to be talking all about design and Canva and AI and all the cool things that all of you love. So I'm going to hit go on the podcast machine, and we will get started. Hello, folks. Welcome to Creator News Live. I'm Jeff C., and you're not. And this is the show that keeps you up to date on what's happening in the creator economy and so much more. Have you ever opened Canva with the best intentions and ended up drowning in options? Maybe you have. We're talking with Maliha today, and it's going to be amazing because so many of you have so many questions. But we're talking with Maliha Khan, a designer and strategist who lives right in the middle of where creators get stuck, the messy middle between planning and producing. She's breaking down how Canva's newest AI features can speed up your workflow, help you stay consistent, and keep your designs aligned with your strategy instead of adding more noise. Maliha is the founder and CEO of Connect the Dots, a strategy-first consultancy, and the creative force behind Concepts Studio, its design arm. Through both, she equips organizations to move from clarity to action with a unique blend of strategic insight and creative vision. Her award-winning work and national speaking engagements from CEX to MACON highlighted her passion for making marketing both practical and inspiring. If design feels overwhelming or you're curious about what these tools can actually do for you, then this is the show for you. So sit back, clear your schedule, clear your mind, and get ready for this week's episode of Creator News Live.
If your plans feel hard to start
and design is the tricky part,
Maliha Khan is here today to help you find a clearer way.
Well, Maliha, thank you so much for being there. How'd you like your theme song? We've been doing that for all our
That's
guests.
impressive. That was really well done.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you. Well, thank you so much for being here. This is just going to be a great. We got some of our friends already showing up today. Sean says he's coming back from Florida, picking up his kid from college. Amy Key says, Happy Friday to you as well, Amy. And Linda says, snow. We've got just a bit in Minneapolis. Oh my gosh. And
Don't
she says,
send it to Kansas City, please. Keep it
don't
there.
Yeah, don't send it to Texas either. So thanks, Linda, for popping in. We appreciate you. But this is going to be such a fun show because I have so many great questions for Maliha because I don't know about you, but Canva is changing, not as quite as much as the script, but a lot. It changes a lot. And I popped in there the other day. Abby usually does, my daughter who does a lot of our repurposing, she uses it a lot more than I do, but man, it's changed a lot. So we're going to talk all about that. But before we get too far along, I want to do a big shout out to our sponsors, Ecamm. You can find out more about them by going to ecamm.com/Jeff. You save 15% on your first purchase by using the code Jeff15. They also have a great new conference they're doing over in the UK, April 23rd through the 24th in the United Kingdom. It's going to be amazing. So you can find out more about that by going to tubefest.co.uk/creator-camp. go over there and tell Katie that Jeff sent you. So with that out of the way, I'm so excited. Let's dive into this because there's so many things happening with AI and designers and all of the crazy stuff going on. Maliha, I watched one of your presentations. I mean, you did it at CEX and you also have one on YouTube, but you talk about creators getting stuck between strategic perilous, I can't even say it, being paralyzed, and tactical chaos. How is AI helping or hurting that middle zone right now? Because you see people on both sides of the fence.
Yeah, so what I mean by people getting stuck in either strategic paralysis or tactical chaos is either we decide to get the strategy just right and then we're not moving fast enough,
Mm-hmm.
or we say, you know what, never mind, we're just going to go tactical and see what lands.
Mm-hmm.
But then towards the end of it, when the results come in, we're kind of scratching our heads and wondering like what happened here. And it's because we didn't work on the strategy piece. So the space in between them is what I call the messy middle. It's where we oftentimes get stuck. And for creators right now, AI is kind of putting us right in the middle of a new kind of
Mm-hmm.
messy middle where everybody's trying to figure out what the next step is. With all these tools, there's it feels like every day there's a new tool coming out. And there's a lot changing. I feel like just this year ChatGPT has changed like feels like 50 times.
Right. It just came out this week. Another one. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think everybody is having to learn how to be quick, how to trial and error faster,
Mm-hmm.
and how to just try things out in order to figure out what truly works for them.
So I want to ask our audience as we're going along this first section when we're talking about kind of this new era of design. What is the biggest barrier for you guys who are watching? And just let us know wherever you're watching from down below. What's the biggest barrier for you when creating visuals for your brand? We just, Maliha, we just talked about like trying to find the middle zone, between the
Yep.
two. How do you do that for design? Like, I know, we talk in marketing, we talk a lot about like our funnels and getting, our perfect avatar and all that stuff. But how do you find that right middle zone when you're trying to find the design strategy?
I think instead of trying to master every single feature, which is impossible, it's more about your workflow.
Hmm.
It's more about figuring out what the ideal tech stack and what the ideal workflow looks like for you. And then after that, once you get that situated, it's all about consistency, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the number one thing that we learn in design and also marketing is that consistency wins every single time. So whatever works for you, just make sure that you are doing it consistently, and don't try to stay on top of every single trend, every single feature, because not every single tool is going to be for you.
Yeah. So you can get overwhelmed with just AI in
Yeah.
general, but now with all these design tools as well,
Oh, yes.
we've talked about Gamma for making presentations, Photoshop, Adobe, all this stuff is coming out with that, and Firefly, it's going crazy. One of the things that I've always, this is even before AI came out, to help with the overwhelm, it's okay not to, Photoshop is something you can learn for the rest of your life, right? It's that deep. It can do so many cool things. So I told people to just memorize the term, like understand what a mask is, because then
Yes.
you can Google it. Like once you know kind of the basic terms, because I have forgotten so many things,
Me
it's,
too.
yeah. But if you know like, oh, a mask, okay, how do I make a clipping
Yep.
mask on this? And when you know what a clipping mask is, then that makes it easier to go Google. That's what I do. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Go
Ever
ahead.
since I got onto Canva, you'd be surprised how much of my like Adobe lingo I've forgotten. So I'm right there with you.
Right. So one of the things you joked about is that AI is adding to the chaos. Like it's a
Mhm.
great tool, but yeah, you can get really overwhelmed with all the news and everything coming out in your feed.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
what do you think the types of pressure that creators are putting on themselves that AI could actually ease if it's used correctly?
So, one of the things that I love to talk about is how AI is a phenomenal tool if you just use it correctly. And by correctly, I mean it needs to sound like you. And so, in order to get it to sound like you, we need to provide it with the right context, the right training, and the right information, because that's something that only you know. So if we don't provide the right context, we don't get the best results, right? So I like to tell folks your output is going to be um, as strong as the input. And so
Hmm.
if you're putting into the tool is not doesn't provide information like role, context, brand voice is a big one. It's not gonna sound like you. It is gonna sound like you're using just a tool and a robot at the end of the day. So the brand voice piece of it is really huge.
Yeah, you don't want to. There's no real easy button. I mean, there's things that can help you a little bit, but you can't just say,
Yep.
press a button and your design is done or your output is done. So I think that's a great point. We do have some great comments who've already coming in for our amazing studio audience. Amy says, and when we ask this question, what's the biggest barrier when creating visuals? She says, I think it's coming up with a process so I don't go down multiple rabbit holes. I think it's fun and so hard to stay on task and not eat up hours on my time. So, Malia, what would you tell Amy? Because I think this is a thing that all designers struggle with.
Mhm.
It's never done. You can always tweak it a little bit more. So, how do you stop? When do you say enough? When you're designing a logo or a piece for a client, when do you say, okay, it's done? Is it because you run out of time, or is it how do you know when it's done for you?
That's a very great question and one that I've struggled with a lot. And so at the end of the day, it's come down to, because I'm a perfectionist at heart. So
Hmm.
for me, I've like identified a percentage. So like if I feel like 80% of it is good to go, I'm not going to touch it again.
Mm,
That way, because I could be sitting there literally forever.
right.
um to get it just right. And what's really fascinating is my chat GPT will tell me like you're a perfectionist, like I kind of see you, you know anything I spit out, like it has to be just right,
Hmm.
done your way. And so that's what's kind of really helped me realize like I need to just come up with like a certain percentage that I feel comfortable with. Like if I feel like 80% of this is done and it has already like um hit all of the core things that I
Right.
want to include in this piece, then it's time to just let the rest of it go.
Yeah, that's a great. So 80% is a great. My thing is I'm out of time. That's usually what it is. Like,
Yeah,
okay, I gotta get this done, and
yeah.
it's better to have it published than perfect. Is one of the sayings that we go to a lot. And then we've got another great question from the amazing Zach Brown saying, he says, finding the balance of visuals and text in the same graphic, stating the needed information without being a bulletin board image. So, Malia, do you think that comes with just design, or do you have some hacks that can like help Zach like find that balance between visuals and text in the same graphic? Because you see a lot of people like try to cram everything they need to be in there, and then you have those other ones that are like, what does that image even mean? So, what do you
Yeah.
usually tell people?
I normally tell people that it goes back to design. I feel like everyone has a different taste and style, and the amount of white space that I want to leave might be very different from how you would like to go
Hmm.
about it. So I think that's one of those things that really does come down to um, what you feel comfortable with as a designer, and what you feel like is balanced.
Right.
It's such a subjective thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because my daughter and I go back and forth on this. I'll say like, I really like this. And she's like, no, that's gross. Like, because I make a bunch of like the music that we heard at the beginning, where had your kind of theme song. I make
Yeah,
like a bunch of different versions of that, and I usually send it to her, and she just doesn't like female voices, and so I always have to temper it like, that sounds fine, it's great, but like, does it work? And so we go back and forth on that, and it is very subjective. You just don't want to
yes.
be bad, I guess, is the thing. You don't want it to
Yep.
look horrible or sound bad. And Amy also says, also staying on brand and figuring out what to tell AI, so I'm staying on the brand. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later in a different section. But this is a
Yep.
great one from Mr. Rich Graham says, he struggles working with so-called designers that really don't get it. Way too many colors and logos, super tiny serif types, it's unreadable, etc. So when somebody's shopping for a designer, Maliha, what should they be looking for? Like, what is it that you should you just look at their body of work and just pick something you like? Or is there like some red flags that people should go like, okay, I need to find somebody else?
I think it's really important to, number one, take a look at their portfolio. And then number two, there could be a specific piece in their portfolio that you like, and you might be under the assumption that you're going to get something similar. So I think it's very important to have a conversation and say like, hey, I liked this specific piece and I kind of want you to channel this into the project that I want you to work on.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times, like, I'll have people come to me and they liked a specific design, but I may have done that for like a pharmaceutical company or something running an ad campaign. And I may have not thought that that was exactly what I wanted to do for this particular client, but it's just context that I would have appreciated earlier. Like, I have no problem with trying to channel that design. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just, if you like specific things, state exactly what you like. And if you don't like things, then be very upfront and clear about that. I have certain clients that don't like certain types of fonts. Like, say that up front, so
Mm-hmm.
that way it'll just help not waste time.
Right. What do you do when a client says, I want to use Comic Sans? Do you let them?
Oh, I go cry in the corner with a bucket of ice cream.
I actually worked, there was a company that they used to do all their presentation slides in that, and I just could not
I
understand it. And
know.
I could not, anyway. Yeah. So friends don't let friends use Comic Sans.
No.
The funny thing, because that was what Rich was talking about, is like finding what you like and doing more of that. So, Canva has, I think it's 220 million monthly users.
Yes.
It's probably more than that now, but which means that there's more visuals than are ever being published, every day. Like, it's just, they're cranking out. So how should creators think about standing out in that volume? Because I remember when I first started, when I did Pinterest way back in the day, you could just scroll through it and go, oh, there's a Canva pin. Oh, there's another one. Oh, you could tell they're just changing the text and not doing anything with the template. So how can we stand out with so many images being created today? How can we stand out in the feed with our designs?
I think definitely working to make the designs more distinctive. But then I think it goes back to like consistency. All of the designers that I like work with and have as friends, like, they have like a specific style. And so that's what makes it really cool to see
Mm-hmm.
like their body of work versus mine versus another designer's. So I think pulling that in is key. But then also about it later, but just making sure that all of those different branded elements like shine through loud and clear.
Mm-hmm.
um, I think all of these things are ways that can kind of set your design apart, because you are right, there are lots and lots of templates within
Right.
Canva. And so it is getting a little bit not harder, but more of a challenge to make sure that the design that you're producing shouldn't look like it came from like a Canva template. It should really look like you actually did the work, and it's your creative brain behind
Right.
it. So
So if you're design challenged, like some of us are, one of the things that I used to do is, instead of using, just a template and go changing the text in Canva, I would bring like 3 or 4 and then drag in elements that were complementary from like 3 or 4
absolutely.
different templates and kind of mash them together so it's something new. And that
Yep.
was kind of for an easy way for me to kind of like stand out in the feed compared to the people who are just
Yep.
trying to hit that
But
easy
you can
button.
still use like a template just like you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But what I like to do is pull in all sorts of like Like for example, for my presentations, I love the animated graphics,
Right.
and I love to like pull those in to just
Mhm.
make it a little bit more different and fun. And then like you'd be surprised how much is within their like image library. And so you're right, like there are ways that you can change things up and still kind of beat time and like utilize an existing template but merge things or add things to make it your own.
Mhm.
But I think it still goes back to like your design style as well, right? Like what works for you.
Yeah. We got some more great comments. This is what I love about our live audience. And Dustin, the head cheese over at Magi, says, as a former designer, here's what I always ask of my designers I look to hire. Tell me about why you made these choices for whatever that item is in the portfolio. That's a great idea. And then this is really fun, interesting. A lot of people are saying the same thing as like you Tater saying is he says, I feel like I know what I want in my head, but I have trouble getting it out into the real world. I can't quite articulate what I'm looking for. Um, and Dustin also says if a designer can't explain their design choices, that's a giant red flag. And then
Yes.
Maurice says, I think the hardest thing about working with clients as a creative is they don't know how to communicate the ideas in their head. That is a huge problem. I mean, across the board.
Yep.
But I remember one client was like, make it more look like Coke. Like they wanted the Coke look. I'm like, I can't. I mean, it's Coke. You can't. I mean, like use your words. Tell me what you mean. So how do you get? I know you have some worksheets, and we're going to share some of that later. But how do you get like when you onboard a new client? How do you get them if they're struggling to articulate what they want to actually make sense to you as a designer?
Yeah, I think what works really well for me is like showing them different types of first of all, pieces within my portfolio, and
Mm-hmm.
then also like um images to just kind of gauge like where their style is in their head, because uh everybody can relate to like a graphic, right?
Right.
But so you just need to get it out of them that way. But I can totally relate because that's a challenge that I feel like every designer faces, where they might have a completely different idea. What's been helping is, believe it or not, I've had a lot of clients that are doing the pre-work within like an AI tool,
Mm-hmm.
which is a little scary. And then like bringing it to me and saying like, this is what I want my logo to look like, but these are the things that I don't like, and I just want it professionally done. So can you just modify these things? Which as a designer like makes half of the job easier because
Mm-hmm.
like I kind of have a starting point. So that's been really great so far as just like a new thing that I've been observing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's easier now to make your stuff instead of look not so much like a template because you can go in and, okay, I can make a kind of a original quote, AI graphic that I could use instead of the
Yep.
stock photos and then also that sort of things. But, for creators who feel like overwhelmed by all these new AI features, I know I do, what's a realistic mindset shift that they can kind of make to stay productive instead of panic? Because it can be like you look at just even Canvas, you open up their tool and you've got all these options. So how do you narrow it down, and how can you make that mindset shift they can make to be more productive and not so panicked?
Yeah, I think the number one thing to realize with that is that every tool is not for you. And so we need to just know not to keep chasing tools, and instead to figure out what our tech stack looks like. Like for me, it's Chat GPT, Claude, Canva, Descript, and now I just added Riverside. And so like that's what it looks like for me. And so those are the tools that I work in, live in. Um, and honestly, like I had to let my Adobe subscription go, which everybody kind of exactly. I was just about to say everybody does that, and I just say come over to the dark side with Canva because unless you're there's a caveat, unless because I just met with somebody yesterday who like creates toys, and so obviously like they would need tools like Illustrator and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. That's a whole different ball game, right? But for most of us, I don't see why we wouldn't be able to use Canva moving forward. Like, I've been surprised as a designer that I've been able to do large format printing design within Canva. Like, I've printed my retractable banners and like big signage, and that
That's
was
cool.
something you weren't able to do in Canva before. So the fact that the tool has changed so much, I really think it's about you finding the right tool mix. um and that changes. Like, I have friends that are like, I like to use Gemini, I like to
Hmm.
use per- Perplexity.
Right.
And then I have some friends that don't want to let Adobe go, which is fine. It's okay, you do you.
I would love to be able to. The problem is, as Premiere, as I use that so much, and After Effects, I've
Yeah,
been using those for
it makes
years. It's just it's expensive. Like, you get
sense.
this tool, it's
it's
like over $60 a month. I think it is now.
it's $70 a
Yeah,
month, and that's when I was like, okay, time to let it
and
go.
and didn't they just buy Affinity? And isn't that like a Photoshop killer, or essentially
Yes.
Photoshop? Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Because one of the frustrations that I used to have with Canva was that you couldn't do vector art the
Hmm.
way you should. And well, hello, Affinity.
Right.
That is a problem of the past now. I've done client logos in there before, and I mean, it's allowed me to literally do the same that I would have been able to do in like Illustrator, which
Oh, I lost you there. What was that? So you were saying about Illustrator? You
yeah.
replaced Illustrator with it?
Yep, and so, I was just saying that that's, like, pretty scary and powerful at the same time, the fact that
Yeah.
this exists now.
I've really got to look at getting rid of it. I just, it's so hard. It's been
I
so
know,
it's been the tech stack from the beginning. Like, I think I started
yeah,
like on Premiere 3, and then Photoshop, and then they went to the subscription, and it'll be a hard day when Jeff lets go
I
of Adobe.
know, and call me that day,
Okay.
because
I'll need support is what it'll be.
I needed support. I was like,
Yeah.
"I can't believe I mean, it's like the end of an era, you
So
know?"
so when we're talking about these tools that are those are kind of legacy tools that are kind of going away
Yeah,
as the new forefront, the new tools come out. So when you look at where AI is headed, like, I mean, this is hard because it's moving so fast.
I know.
What is the one design skill creators should protect? The one thing that AI can't replace?
This is gonna sound so simple, but it's the human aspect of it. Like, um, AI doesn't know the things that you know. AI doesn't have the taste that you have. And so I think here's what I like to tell people. Like, because people kind of get surprised that they have to review things that AI spits out. And so I say, right, but if you were, am I there?
Yeah, what you're saying, go ahead.
I was like, if I produced, say, like a logo, and I wanted two people that you do, you need to make sure that you have somebody to review. As a designer, that's like a basic thing, that anything that goes out the door gets reviewed by at least two people, if not more. Right? And so why is it different when it comes to AI? It shouldn't be any different when it comes to AI. You're still going to need to have that human review piece of it built in. And so I think as designers, it is a very interesting time right now with all these tools coming out, and what does that look like for the phase of design moving forward. But I think when it comes back to it, it's just, that human aspect of it is what sets us apart. And so it's okay that these tools are, like, coming out, and the industry is gonna have to change and pivot, but some of the tools that are coming out are wonderful, and they would actually make your life easier instead of complicating it. So it just depends on how you look at it.
Yeah, uh, you know, I think it's amazing the stuff going on, and there's this. It's going to be this constant fight when new things come. People are upset about letting things go. I mean, I get it. But it can save you some time and things like, and I use this example all the time, like these little cute little intro music things we have at the beginning. I would never be able to do that before AI came out, because I'm able now. I've got it in a workflow, streamlined in about 15 minutes using Suno, which to me is amazing, which I've always wanted to do. And I think it's one of my favorite things I do for the show every week. So, kind of embrace those things that make you happy and kind of bring us, what is it that, sparks joy, whatever that designer used to say all the time.
Oh, yes.
What sparks joy for you to do, and use that to kind of help your creativity kind of move forward and get better as you go along. Before we move on to the next section, I've got some great questions. And I want to get this from you. This is from Dustin. He goes, honestly, as good as Nano Banana is, I'm really worried about Canva template ecosystem. What are your thoughts about that? Because it's really getting scary fast, I guess.
I think right when I think like a specific tool is done now, because like another tool's like provided this really great update, like hold on, because I'm pretty sure right when I think that like Canva comes out with this massive update, or like, somebody else comes out with this huge update, and so somehow it was on their radar and they kind of knew. And so that's kind of why I'm really pumped to go to Canva Create next year, because apparently that's their next product launch. And so far, the last two launches have had me floored, having been like a Canva user since the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Things are changing scary fast, but it's a fun time to just watch like where we're going with all of this.
Yeah, I remember when Canva came out. I think Dustin was probably there, but I was at Social Media Marketing World, and Guy Kawasaki was handing, and I found one in my office the other day. Yeah. That's how often I clean it. One of the Canva credit cards. He was handing out these little Canva credits, so you could buy credits with their thing, because he's the spokesman for Canva. Yep. And it's just gone so far so fast. Linda has some great points. She goes, I look at designs that people are advising me to use, and then at their screen presence, this is when we're picking out a designer, they're usually matching their style to themselves. I use that as a template to make mine. So I like that, Linda. You're going out and looking at what other people are doing, but then internalizing it and making it your own. And this surprised me from Dustin. I did not know this. He gave up on Adobe 5 years ago and never looked back. I would not have thought that with Dustin. I thought he would go to his grave using Adobe. And then he goes, well, I did have to get it for design t-shirt.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. And so Dustin's already impressing people all over the place. Yeah. Dustin's a big deal, Maurice. So anyway, I want to know from you guys, what Canva feature, if you're using Canva, what Canva feature do you use most in your workflow? Is it like magic resize? Is it remove background? I have a feeling that one's probably going to win. But I want to know what you guys are using the most in Canva. I'm really interested in that, what you use most in your workflow. But at this time, I want to tell you that Maliha has a great little a tool that you guys can get, like a bunch of resources that she's put together. If you go to connectthedots.com/Canva toolkit, you can sign up and get that. And it's spelled KHANECTTHDOTS.com for you guys listening. So connectthedots.com/Canva toolkit. Go check. What do they get when they go sign up for that, Amelia?
A lot of goodies. It's not just one thing, but it's a link to my prompt coach tool, and I also have a brand voice custom GPT that will like help you develop brand voice guidelines. And then I've got a Magic Studio cheat sheet, which comes in handy. It tells you exactly which tools are where, because some of them are hard to find. So it's like a huge list of pretty much all of their Canva AI features and where to find them step by step, and what you can do with them.
Very cool. I can't wait to check that out, because that's one of the things. We're going to talk a little bit on this section, but it's one of the things, having a cheat sheet for those kind of things is very, very cool. Yes. Because Canva came out with, I think, the April update. This was that massive update that they had. So for creators, Leo, which of the new features actually kind of shift the way that they work day to day? Like, what have you found that has been the biggest thing in this new update that has helped you out the greatest?
Yeah, there's a couple of tools. I love the fact that you can use Magic Animate. If you're working on presentations and whatnot, that comes in handy. Magic Switch is a really great tool. Um, it's very different from Magic Resize. I like to tell people that because Magic Resize is where you could just create different sizes of one particular design. So if I wanted to turn the same design into like a social media post for Facebook, Instagram, that was like a great feature that came out years ago, that could allow you to change it into different sizes. But Magic Switch is very different, because the first thing under Magic into into any language, they have like a long list of languages, and you can like take, for example, like a brochure and translate it into Spanish or what. Magic Switch, which is what blows people's mind away during presentations, is that I could take a PowerPoint deck and I could tell it to repurpose the PowerPoint deck, into a LinkedIn post, into a blog post, into just like a document, or there's like a long list of formats that you can change.
Hmm.
And so what results from that is a completely different output. It's not the same design, it's not the same thing, kind of like Magic Resize. Instead, um, I could have like a 30 slide PowerPoint deck about Canva AI, and it'll turn that into like a blog post for me and add like a really cute banner that you can also go in and change. Um,
And that's
but
Magic Switch. That's Magic Switch.
that's Magic Switch. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have not
So
played with that.
you should. It's under the reason why it's a little bit tricky is it's under the resize tab. So you have to go to resize in order to access Magic
Okay.
Switch, and you have to have Canva Pro. But it's pretty cool, just the fact that it can generate things based on like one particular project.
So you mentioned your presentations, and I know my friend Peg Fitzpatrick uses this because she
Yeah.
works for a big a company that they have to put out a lot of assets, a lot of really quickly. And I haven't played with it too much, but it's called Bulk Create, and you kind of use it with Canvas sheets, is what you were saying in your presentation. So that's, to me, seems like a lifesaver for social teams who are having to put out a bunch of
Absolutely.
graphics for a bunch of people. So what are some of the smartest ways you've seen it that creators have been using it to scale content efficiently?
I mean, honestly, it's creating like testimonial graphics, creating graphics with quotes, creating just any kind of design where only like certain text would need to switch out. Um, that's been a game changer because you can create up to 100 designs,
Oh wow.
which I don't think anybody has 100 client testimonials lying around.
Right.
But if you did, I mean, like, just the amount of time that it saves you is
Oh yeah.
like easy.
And you basically just upload it to Google Sheets, like the let's say for the testimonial. So you have the testimonial, you kind of have the author, and then you have the design. Is that how you kind of put them together?
So the way that it works is you have an option of either using Canvas Sheets, which
Hmm.
for me it's like super super easy to do. But the second option is I think you can pull from like HubSpot, Google Sheets, and there's a couple of other tools that you could pull from.
Hmm.
But say you were using a Google Sheet, right? You would just download it, and then you would go to the specific template that you want to use, um, and then you would pretty much like go to bulk create and then upload your Google Sheets. You do have to kind of um, tell it which text needs to match up with which text in your
Right.
in your design, right?
Map
So
it to
like
it. Yeah. Got it.
map it. Yep, exactly. And then it generates all of the designs in a completely different file. So that's pretty nice too because you still have your template in place.
Cool. Very cool. So, people are already see. This is the thing when you have a cool tool, they all go download it. They're saying, "Oh, this is so helpful, Malia. Thanks for the tools." And a use case. So Rich says he goes into a client Canva files and tries to extract SVG files for print because he does a lot of printing on like water bottles and stuff like that. It's kind of his promotional stuff business that he has. That's very, very cool. But sometimes it's a challenge. A lot of people use the background remover.
Yes.
And Sean actually makes all his YouTube thumbnails in there, and then any animated text for reels and shorts, which is a great idea, which I hadn't thought of before. Amy also signed up, and Dustin says he has a lot of testimonials. He may have to use it. So, but I mean, so all this stuff like the magic tools, the magic switch, all the thing. One of them you mentioned, I think it was in your presentation, you mentioned that Magic Design still struggles with colors a little bit. So what should creators keep in mind when they're reviewing like their AI generated layouts to keep everything consistent, especially with colors and brand colors I know are super important.
So here's the other thing that I'll tell you. Right when I say something like that, Canva goes and fixes it. Uh, so I haven't really seen the same issue happen
Okay.
too often with other people, but it must just be me. I'm just must be difficult. But there are times where it will, like if you drop in your prompt and you say, hey, I want you to build this PowerPoint presentation for me on Canva AI, and I want you to use like navy, hot pink, and teal, but then I get like a red output. I'm like, what just happened?
Right.
So it's a matter of, I feel like what we're seeing with all AI tools, there are certain tools that you can put in a fully loaded prompt and it will be fine.
Right.
But then there are tools where it's like you just kind of have to iterate back and forth and not bake it all into your prompt up front. And so I feel like Canva is one of those where they're still trying to figure it out right now. And I've seen better results if I don't go into too much detail in terms of color. So I normally tell everybody like leave color out, but focus more on what the ask is, provide the context, and any type of details on like tone. Is there a specific brand kit that you want it to utilize? They've just came out with a update right now where you can actually click the plus sign within your like Canva AI screen, and it'll like ask you to like select a build kit, brand kit. And I think that's amazing because before you weren't able to say like, "Hey, I want you to use a brand kit." Now you can do that. So I think they are working on a lot. And I think we're really going to see things improve quite a bit. But yes, for now, I still tell people try to leave color out um, until like it comes back with 4 different designs, and then kind of talk to it and say, hey, I'm really looking for something that works well with like neon colors or something like that.
So, because I have not used this feature, I just want, so let's say you give it and it comes back and it's giving you a bunch of different layouts or for your presentation, whatever. Is it hard to go back and fix the colors? Let's say you get one that you really,
No,
really like.
no.
It's not hard to go change them.
Nope.
Okay.
And so that's another great point, is that what I tell people is to focus on the actual design skeleton. Like
Mhm.
if you actually like the way the template looks, you can go in there and make sure that it like uses your brand kit, shuffle the colors around and things like that. So it's not like it's not like it's going to take you a lot of time. So yeah, you're right. There are some things that I would say like don't waste too much time on, because as long as the main gist of it is there and you like what you're seeing, it's great. Thumbs up.
That's great. I love it that you said like get the skeleton right, because then you can go in and
Yep.
change the
Yep.
aesthetics a little bit later. Another thing is Canva partnered with OpenAI for Magic Write. And
Yes.
so, and there also, I saw in OpenAI, you can connect Canva to it as well. And so it's kind of confusing how it works together in different ways. So OpenAI for Magic Write. So how could creators decide what belongs in ChatGPT versus what belongs inside of Canva's kind of built-in AI tools?
So right now, what I tell people is ChatGPT is going to be very different because you've trained it, hopefully. And so all this time that you've been using it, you've been really teaching it. Um, Now, Magic Write is not going to have any type of context like that. It's literally there for you to do simple things like creating an outline, or like generating really quick blog post topics, or coming up with like a really fast Instagram reel caption,
Got it.
things that won't require any type of context. So for me, my workflow is normally, most of the time, I start with Chat GPT because my chat knows almost everything about the
Right.
business, and it's just easier and it's quicker. Like, I don't have to keep explaining the same context. Whereas what's kind of funny is that my Claude account wasn't as up to date, and I just had not used it enough to like train it. So then I went to chat and said, "Can you tell me everything that I really should be telling Claude about me, because I keep having to explain myself over and over again." And once I did that, Claude was right on board. And so I think that's the really fun part with some of these AI tools, is like, how can we how can we train them to get the best outputs? And so
Mhm.
Magic Write's not gonna, um, even though the word magic is in the term, it's not gonna work that kind of magic for you. You're still gonna have to use your chat or Claude account or
Right.
whatever you like.
Well, speaking of magic, there's another word that has magi in it. It's our friend Dustin Stout, and if you want to go check that out. If you haven't played with magi yet, Malia, it's amazing. It's like he has all the APIs to all of them, like Claude, ChatGPT, even the image generators, and you can have it all in one spot. It's got an amazing interface, and Dustin is amazing. And new ones come out, he adds them really, really fast. So if you guys want to have a one-stop shop for your AI, or you're starting to get into AI and you want to play with all the different tools, Magi is the way to go. So magi.co/Jeff. And also our friends over at Ecamm. That's what makes the cool music, and being able to play that and switch screens and have animations, all that stuff is done with my pals over at Ecamm. You can find out more about them by going to ecamm.com/Jeff. Go check them out because they have an amazing community. It's an amazing tool. We use it every week, and we wouldn't be able to do the show without them. So this final section, man, this is flying by. So many great questions, so many awesome. This stuff I could nerd out with a long time about. Old, not old, but Jim Fuse says Adobe Express just integrated ChatGPT, so these companies are not sitting still. That's
No.
right. And there's another news that came out was Disney has made a deal with OpenAI where we can use their characters for 3 years. So, and they're suing Google because they used it. So it's just crazy town right now.
It
So,
is crazy town.
but you also don't want to be using Disney characters in your brand. So don't do that anyway. So um, let's see some more comments. Dustin, of course, is chatting about AI. So let's go into this next section where we talk about creativity, and I love what you call the messy middle. I just think it's a great place to be, and it's a great way to explain it. But before creators get excited about all these shiny new features, like we just talked about, a new thing came out, yesterday with OpenAI. What strategy work must happen to prevent AI from turning into more noise or what you call tactical chaos? Like, we love these new tools. We think, oh my gosh, I can do this and it's going to save me so much time. And by the time we get it installed, downloaded, configured, trained, whatever, we've sunk all this time into it. And then there's a new thing that comes out that you have to go redo it in. So how do we be strategic about these tools, Malia?
Yeah, so I think I mean, right now, like you said, it is a very interesting time with all of these tools updating constantly. But I think like the heart of the work, when we take a look at strategy, is like who are you trying to speak to? What is the purpose, um and then finding the right platform, and then having brand voice clarity is what I tell everybody is like a must, like you need to. A lot of people, when I ask about their brand voice, they say, "Yep, it's in my head. Like I know
Mm,
what our vibe is, but I can't quite put it into words." And so I think that's something that you need to put into words. That's something that AI can actually help you with. And so there's a everybody that filled out the form will get the link to my custom GPT, but it will, if you upload all of the different types of like artwork samples, like say social media graphics,
mhm.
your website banners, things like that, right? I tell people to like upload as much as you possibly can, um, and it actually spits out brand voice guidelines for you, and that's really cool because then you could go and create like a custom GPT of your own, where it just in creation. Or you can just now know that every time you have a ask for like chat or Claude,
Mhm.
any of those tools, that you've got this PDF guideline that you can upload to make sure that you stay consistent. I tell people all the time the tools will come and go.
Right.
We're seeing that right now. Like it's not about the tools. It's about making sure that that strategically everything is sound.
Mm. I mean, that's great to be able to have that document where you can,
Yeah.
you never know a new tool will come out where you need to have your brand voice, and having it locked in somewhere that you can't get easily is kind of a downside. So having that document, I know we've kind of done that in our mastermind where we've talked about it and trying to get our brand voice, kind of figure out, our elevator pitch as it were, but even tighter than that. And in
Well,
and
to
Amy
be
even,
clear,
yeah,
it spit out a 4-page document for me. It wasn't
wow.
anything. Yeah, it's not. It it was pretty robust. It told me like how I should show up on like different channels, and things to like avoid, and it like summarized my like brand voice in detail. And the cool thing about it is, for everybody using Canva, you can take that brand voice and you can build it into your brand kit now, right?
Hmm.
So the fact that it's not just about having your brand voice outlined because you should, but it's also about carrying that into Canva to make sure that all of your designs are like in line too. And that saves you time.
That's a great hack right there. And
Yeah.
Amy Keys goes, yeah, brand voice and brand messaging is just as important as your logo and that Comic Sans font. That's true. So
Yeah.
no Comic Sans, Amy. But yes, that's very cool.
But it's the most ignored.
Yeah,
Brand voice is the most ignored.
yeah, I agree. And so make sure you guys go and download that giveaway that Maliha is doing at connectthedots.com/Canva toolkit and check that out. One of the things you showed how Canva's brand kit and brand voice tools, it can help protect that consistency because we mentioned, keeping it
Mhm.
whatever platform you're using. But what should creators document before they ever touch AI? Let's say they're not they what should they like figure out first, like before they move on and upload something into AI? What should they have first before they move on?
So aside from like strategy, it's really important to like document your brand rules. And we know this. We like come up with brand guidelines all the time. When it comes to the logo, but beyond that, how does the brand show up, and what are things that we need to make sure that we don't do anytime we are designing for that particular brand. So So documenting those rules are super important. I think right now with AI, we also need to think about um, which information we can share with AI and which information we can't share as AI,
Mhm.
because that's a topic that I don't see people talking about a lot. I know we're like talking about how we can use AI to help, but there are certain things that shouldn't be uploaded into
Right.
AI, especially if there's like a NDA and whatnot. And so I think as designers, it's definitely a very interesting time because um, we do need to figure out what is okay and what is not when it comes to just sharing screenshots, information, client
Right.
logos,
Yeah.
designs, things like that as well.
So I want to know in the audience as we kind of wrap this up, we got a couple minutes left, but I want to know, do you follow a set strategy? Because we've been talking about like brand voice,
Yeah.
all the kind of stuff. Do you have a set strategy for your visuals, or is it more like create as you go? Like, is it like, are you just kind of like, oh, I got to get the social graphic out. Oh, that template looks okay. And I'll click that and use it. So, I mean, it's okay. Like, this is what we're here to learn from, is like, do you have a set strategy? Are you working on crafting a strategy? Or are you just kind of winging it and like, I just got to get this graphic out and get it done? So let me know wherever you're watching from down in the comments, and we'll bring some up before. Malia, a lot of creators are feeling overwhelmed by trends, deadlines, all the new tools that are coming out. What is your go-to recommendation for getting back to clarity before you start designing? Like, we all want to throw something in and hit a button in AI and have it spit out stuff. But if we take a breath and we stop and we think, like, and we need some like kind of calmness before, because all the stuff's happening, all the trends and the tools, what do you think we need to do to get clarity on our designs?
I think we need to really, first of all, you completely nailed it that we all should um, pause on the tools and really revisit the purpose. So focus on what is the actual message that we want to portray before moving into design, which we would do in the normal process anyway. But now with AI, I feel like we're kind of skipping those steps that we
Mhm.
normally would take. And so I think it kind of goes back to those basics that before just spitting something out, right? We really need to think about the why behind it. What is the message that we're trying to send, and any of the work that we do produce, like using AI, we do really need to kind of think about as a expert designer, right? And
Mhm.
then just kind of review from that human lens, and does it really put your best work forward?
Mhm.
Um, or are you just creating for the sake of creating,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Marie says, strategy always wins, but sometimes I just gonna make something happen. Like,
I
I get it.
know.
Sometimes we all feel that way.
We all feel that way. Yep.
One of the things is I think you really need to love your design. Like, I
Absolutely.
think we've kind of got to a spot for our brand and company that I really like it. I enjoy it. I like the sound ties into it. I mean, all this stuff, and we're constantly gonna redo things and make some things better. But I think we feel comfortable, and that makes it easier to do those graphics. If you're like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. It looks horrible. I don't like it. That's a struggle. So getting that locked in, I think, is one of the big keys to do.
Well, because here's the thing, like, I can tell that you have fun with it, right?
Mhm.
Because, like, that's something that's so clear, and it comes through with the work that you produce. And so I think as designers, we really need to go back in and ask ourselves, like, how would this particular design make other people feel? And is this something that I love? So, I mean, that's it. That's the win, right?
Mhm. Yeah. So I want to, because I get this question a lot because I talk about AI and I present about AI, and I know you do this a lot too, and you talk about design and AI, and I know you get this question, like, how do you feel as a designer about AI? Because I get that question a lot too. Like, do you struggle with it? Do you like, because they're scraping other artists' information to conglomerate on a new thing? What are your thoughts on that? Like, I'm really interested to know what you think and what your answer is when people ask you that question.
I think AI is just a tool to help me do my job better.
Mm.
And I think the goal of or not the goal, but like the right way to use it is to like offload to some of the things that are like admin tasks that you don't want to do that just take up way too much time. And then number two, AI is a really great critique of, like if you just want to like share again the work that you can share.
Mm-hmm.
Um that's been super helpful for me. Like if I am in my designer brain, like second guessing myself, like I know I nailed it, but
Right.
like
Right.
it's time to like hand off the files to the client, and now I'm just kind of like I don't know, like should I have tweak this a little bit different and whatnot. Um, that's when sometimes like I'm just like, okay, can you help me out here? Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking XYZ. And most of the time, chat's just telling me like you're in your head. It's that
Right.
perfectionist brain coming back. And so it's okay, go ahead and hit send. So there are times where it really does help me quite a bit. And
Mm-hmm.
then but I think at the end of the day, um you know what you're doing. You know your style. You're hopefully a very great designer depending on how long you've been doing it and whatnot. I think the tools are just there to help us become better at what we're doing. They're not supposed to replace us.
Yeah. That's a great answer. It's a tough question. There's a lot of different
Yeah,
things that go into it, but I think that's good. Is using it as a tool to help you become more creative is the way I've been thinking about it. So
exactly.
this has been an amazing conversation. Malia, thank you so much for being here. Make sure you guys go and get her free download at connectthedots.com/Canva toolkit. All sorts of goodies in there. Malia, I'll give you this final time to tell people where they can find you, what you got going on, anything else you want like our audience to know.
Yep. I would just say if you want to learn more about Canva and a lot of the different updates, I do workshops. If you just go to my website and click on the events tab, you can find all sorts of workshops and webinars. If you'd like to just learn more about all of the cool tools within Canva.
Awesome. And I thought I saw in January you have a training coming up you're doing too. I can't remember what it's called. So
Well, February, yep, and
February. Okay.
then January, I've got, I do my authentic AI talk, which kind of covers brand voice and all of that jazz.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the content creation with AI workshop that is typically ChatGPT and Claude for like brainstorming. Then we move into Canva, and then the third hour we move into Descript. So if you're
That's right.
talking workflow, that's the workshop that will help you build a workflow. And then we're getting ready to add some more Canva based trainings. So look forward to that next year.
Very, very cool. Connectthedots.com that is with a KHAN. That's how you get connect the dots.
Yeah.
So make sure you guys go there and check it out. I would love it if you guys would sign up for the amazing newsletter at jeffc.com/news. You'll hear great guests like we have. We have a lot of fun with the email community. So if you're not a part of that, make sure to go to jeffc.com/news. And thank you so much to our sponsors, Ecamm. You can find out more about them at ecamm.com/Jeff. Save 15% on your first purchase by using code Jeff15. And with that, thank you so much, Malia. Thank you, Dustin, Amy Keys, Maurice, Tater, all the folks who showed up today. I appreciate you. I hope you're going to have a great weekend. I hope you have a great weekend. We'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.